The name Derrick Rose conjures up a lot of feelings in NBA fans. Unfortunately, the most prevalent feeling is sadness. We all know about the story of Derrick Rose and his plethora of injuries, but today I'd like to talk about Derrick Rose before the injuries. Derrick Rose's career is widely associated with 3 letters. No, not that one. Yes, that one. The 2011 MVP is unfortunately the only thing positive that Derrick Rose is really associated with. But there are some people out there, specifically LeBron James fans, that would like to take this accomplishment away from Rose. Many people believe that LeBron deserves the MVP over Derrick Rose, and I am here to tell you why the idea that LeBron deserved it over Rose is an NBA myth. Let's first take a look at this from a purely statistical standpoint. In the 2010-2011 season, Derrick Rose averaged 25 points, 7.7 assists, 4.1 rebounds, and 1 steal, shooting 44.5% from the field and 33% from 3. And LeBron averaged 26.7 points, 7 assists, 7.5 rebounds, and 1.6 steals, shooting 55% from the field and 33% from 3. So LeBron averaged 1.7 more points, 0.7 less assists, and 3.4 more rebounds, and 0.6 more steals, and he shot 6.5% better from the field. So yeah, I would argue that LeBron did in fact have better numbers in 2011, however, it's not by that much. Be honest here, if Derrick Rose was 5 inches taller and 60 pounds heavier, do you think that he couldn't average 3.4 more rebounds a game and shoot a little bit better from the field? If the MVP race was between a point guard and a center, would you fault the point guard for averaging less rebounds than the center? No, you wouldn't. Just like you wouldn't fault the center for averaging less assists than the point guard. Basically, my point is that a lot of the difference in stats could be chopped up to the difference of position and LeBron being much bigger than Rose. But now, let's look at the advanced stats. LeBron once again comes out on top here. LeBron has a 8.6 box plus minus to Derrick Rose's 5.9, and he has a 2.5 difference in win shares, and LeBron has a 27.3 player efficiency rating to Derrick Rose's 23.5 player efficient rating. So you might look at these stats and see that clearly LeBron was better. But this brings me to my next point. Basketball is a team sport, so why don't we talk about LeBron and Rose's teammates? See, a lot of the reason that LeBron was able to be so much more efficient was his teammates. Let's compare here. LeBron's right-hand man, Dwyane Wade, averaged 25.5 points per game, 4.6 assists, and 6.4 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field. Basically, LeBron's second guy averaged more points than Derrick Rose did. LeBron's second guy was a top 10 player that season. Let's look at Rose's teammates now. The second best player on the Chicago Bulls in 2011 was Luol Deng, who averaged 17.4 points and 5.8 rebounds, shooting 46% from the field. The Heat's third best player was Bosh in 2011, who averaged 18.7 points and 8.3 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field. So LeBron's second best teammate averaged 1.3 more points than Rose's best teammate. And Rose's third best teammate was Joakim Noah, who missed 34 games that season, and his fourth best player, who was the third scoring option, Carlos Boozer, who averaged 17.5 points and 9.6 rebounds, missed 23 games that season. Would you like to know who started in place of Boozer and Noah at the different points of the season? A 38-year-old Kurt Thomas, who started 37 games that season. So the difference of their teammates brings me up to a point that I will actually bring up in more depth in another Mythbusters episode that will be about this topic specifically. And that point is that LeBron, with all of his talented teammates, was able to be more efficient because the defense didn't only have to focus on him. When LeBron would go one-on-one, the defense also had to worry about Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh. And yes, the defense had to pay attention to Luol Deng and Carlos Boozer, but I think we can all agree that Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh were a little bit better than Luol Deng and Carlos Boozer, to say at the least. I think that Boozer and Luol Deng were a little bit less threatening to defense than Wade and Chris Bosh were. If I'm a coach in 2011, and I'm playing the Bulls, my defensive game plan begins and ends with stop Derrick Rose. But if Luol Deng or Carlos Boozer have a good game while Derrick Rose struggles, the Bulls lose. But if Dwyane Wade or Chris Bosh have a good game while LeBron struggles, the Heat could still win because Wade and Bosh are players that are capable of carrying to a win, especially Dwyane Wade. Since we're talking about teammates, let's talk about the team specifically now. LeBron James's Heat, despite having more talent, had a record of 58-24, which got them the second seed in the East. But the Bulls had a record of 62-20, which got them the first seed. And yeah, a 4-game difference in wins isn't a huge margin. But when you consider that the Bulls front court missed a combined 67 games, and the Heat were more talented to begin with, Rose was leading the team to more wins with less talent. And in their regular season matchups, on January 15, 2011, the Bulls beat the Miami Heat by 3 in a game where LeBron did not play. Wade went off for 33 points, which proves my point that LeBron, having that kind of talent that could carry without him, but the Heat still lost because Rose had 34 points, 8 assists, and 3 blocks. On February 24, 2011, the Bulls beat the Heat by 4, with LeBron having 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, and Rose had 26 points and 6 assists. But the second highest scoring player for the Bulls was Luol Deng, who had 20. But for the Heat, the second highest scorer was LeBron with 29 because Dwyane Wade had 34. But the Bulls still won. On March 6, 2011, the Bulls once again defeated the Heat by 11, and another very close game. Derrick Rose had 27 points and 5 assists, while LeBron had 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Luol Deng for the Bulls had 18, while Chris Bosh had 20 and Wade had 23. Bulls still win, 3-0 on the season. Now for the point that I am certain will come up in the comment section. Yeah, the Miami Heat had a gentleman's sweep on the Bulls in the conference finals. But as I would like to point out, and as I shouldn't have to point out, the MVP is a regular season award, so the playoffs really shouldn't even come up in this debate. But some would argue that because of that series, it proved that LeBron was the one that truly deserved the award. Well, yeah, Rose really struggled this series with an abysmal 35% shooting percentage. But while you would argue that this series proved that LeBron was an MVP player, I would argue that the series that followed this one proved that LeBron wasn't. Yeah, the 2011 finals, where LeBron was outscored by Jason Terry for the series. Now, don't get me wrong, Jason Terry was a great six-man, but I don't think that I need to tell you that LeBron not even averaging 20 in the finals is goddamn pathetic. And yeah, I would say that this playoff series shouldn't matter for LeBron's MVP candidacy, but if that's the case, you can't say that Rose's playoff should count for the MVP candidacy. Now, so far, we've looked purely at stats for the argument in favor of Rose, but as we all know, you can't look at sports purely with a statistical eye. There's an emotional aspect to it too. A lot of LeBron fans believe that LeBron didn't win MVP because NBA fans and the media was biased against LeBron because this was LeBron's first season with the Miami Heat, and he was definitely the most hated athlete in the world at the time. There probably is a little bit of validity to that argument, but some claim that his decision made voters not even consider LeBron from the start of the season. But if we're talking about not being considered for MVP, Rose before the season had a press conference where he said this.
It's high. The way I look at it within myself, why not? Why can't I be the MVP of the league? Why can't I be the best player in the league? I don't see why. Why can't I do that? I think I work hard. I think I dedicate myself to the game and sacrifice a lot of things at a young age. And I know that if I continue to do good, what I can get out of it. And if that's me going now or doing whatever, I'm willing to do it because I know that in the long run, it's going to.
Well, the reason Rose was questioning why he couldn't be the MVP was because nobody believed that he could. Rose was entering his third season, and last year the Chicago Bulls were the 8th seed in the East. To say that Derrick Rose came out of nowhere for the MVP is an understatement. No one expected Rose to be MVP at the end of the 2010-11 season. Well, no one expected that except for Derrick Rose. And just one more thing. If you want to know who should have been the MVP between LeBron and Derrick, well, just ask LeBron himself, who said towards the middle of the 2010-11 season, "I think it's Derrick Rose. What he's done for that team, with all the injuries they've had and them being first in the Eastern Conference, they're playing some really good basketball." So in conclusion, Derrick Rose in fact deserved the MVP over LeBron in the 2011 season, because Rose led his team to a better record with a worse supporting cast that was also injured a lot. And Rose was putting up numbers that were not that much worse than LeBron's. Shout out to Dwight Howard, who was actually second in MVP voting. LeBron should have been second, I would agree with that, and there probably is some bias there, but he did not deserve to be first in MVP voting. LeBron deserved the MVP over Rose. Myth busted. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue